Hello, I want to talk to you today about my Hashimoto story, about the story of remission and the learnings from this story. I'm Olga, a rapid transformational therapist and clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm talking to you today about autoimmune diseases, about my personal journey. As a child and a young person, I was healthy. I considered myself healthy. I didn't go to doctors and I also didn't take medicines. And when I had my first daughter in my early 30s, I decided to go for a checkup. And the doctor that I chose, she did a thorough checkup. But when I came in for the results, she announced that I have an autoimmune disease of thyroid gland, Hashimoto thyroiditis or Hashimoto disease, and that I will have to take medicines daily for the rest of my life. It was very shocking and I was pretty mad at this doctor. And later I learned that she did a really good job. Autoimmune diseases are not easy to diagnose, and especially in case of Hashimoto, because there are no direct symptoms related to Hashimoto, related to thyroid gland. But thyroid is controlling metabolism in the whole body, so symptoms can be very different of Hashimoto thyroiditis. It's starting with dry skin, thinning hair, poor digestion, very slow movements of gut mobility, low gut mobility, poor uptake of nutrients from food. Also fatigue, poor focus, mental focus, depression, intolerance for cold, brain fog, poor memory, joint and muscle pain. So you can think anything about these symptoms and guess long what disease you have, if you have disease, and which. So the diagnosis was shocking for me, but I decided to do research. And the first thing I found pretty soon was that certain supplements can help immune system to calm down, and especially it was selenium, which is needed for our immune system. So I started taking daily selenium doses, which was more than 3 times higher than daily recommended dose. And this was around 360%. And so this intervention alone allowed me to reduce the antibodies. The antibodies is the sign of Hashimoto thyroiditis, antibodies against thyroid gland in blood. And that during diagnosis, when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, my antibodies were at 640 international units per milliliter of blood. When I started taking selenium daily, the antibodies level dropped down to about 200, and they were stable then for several years. Okay, so I continued searching further, and then I started suspecting that something is wrong with my digestion. I didn't know that, no one told me, doctors didn't know. And I found a test online for food sensitivities. This was also a new thing to learn, food sensitivities. We heard about allergies, but back then, and it was when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's was 14 years ago, I didn't know about sensitivity. So I ordered this test online, and it was not that easy, but also not complicated, just to take some drop of your blood from the finger, and the test, in a couple of hours I had a result that I'm sensitive to wheat and rye and milk products mainly. So I did a big change in my nutrition. I stopped eating bread, pasta, pizzas, and milk products. I had to search for some other products that I could eat. This helped greatly my digestion, and it was a significant step towards healing. I kind of continued searching, and I found books of an expert, Isabella Wentz. These were also very new books back then, and she is an expert for Hashimoto thyroiditis. She is a pharmacist who had a difficult journey towards diagnosis of Hashimoto's, and then she did a huge literature search studies and created a protocol how to heal, how to go into remission of having Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So I tried out different things that she suggests, and at the end, I think that what helped me, these were 2 supplements. I tried different ones, but it was vitamin D. Many people are deficient in vitamin D, and especially Hashimoto patients, they are chronically low in vitamin D. So I was looking and finding a good supplement to take to bring up my vitamin D in the blood, the levels of vitamin D in my blood. And the second one, very important one, it was turmeric or curcumin, which helps to detoxify your body, but also very important for immune system. So after a few months that I was taking these 2 supplements, I went for a regular checkup, and the results of the blood test were saying that the antibodies in my blood are below norm, below 34. So I started with 640, went down to 200, stayed quite a long time between 200 and 100, and this time they were about 20. And the conclusion on the test result was that Hashimoto thyroiditis is not confirmed. It was a great day in my life, a big victory, because it was a journey of 10 years. And it was already 3 years ago. I repeated a few times the test, and the antibodies are still in norm. Okay, and that was this. Even the testing was not easy. Right? I had a family doctor who refused several times to repeat the tests because doctors know you cannot do anything about Hashimoto's thyroiditis. You cannot heal, you cannot help. This test exists only to do the diagnosis. I had to find even against this. So I found a doctor who was helpful, who was supporting me, who was believing in me. Yes. Then also a very important thing that I was addressing the psychological issues, the psychological element to Hashimoto's. I'm a great believer that every chronic disease, autoimmune disease, has a psychological element to this. And I used rapid transformational therapy to address the psychological issues of Hashimoto thyroiditis. And then why these are important? There are studies showing that Hashimoto thyroiditis affects mainly women, also men, but mainly women. And one can see that these women are also kind of hiding themselves. That means that in the childhood they experience some difficulties. It can be violence in the family, it can be abuse against the child, which cause a protection mechanism, like shutting down, taking distance from what is happening, right? And what is Hashimoto thyroiditis also doing? It makes you weak. It makes you kind of unseen withdrawing from life. Okay, and and different diseases have different elements, but you can find in any chronic disease or autoimmune disease something similar, that a disease serves some psychological roots, some psychological needs. So I was addressing these needs with rapid transformational therapy. So my antibodies are still immoral. Do I consider myself healed? No. I do believe that if I start eating daily bread and pizzas, pastas, if I start eating milk products, if I stop taking my supplements, that the disease will flare up again. So I'm continuing search for other solutions which will make my health even more stable. Right? Also, my thyroid tissues were destroyed partially by the antibodies, so thyroid is not functioning to its full, doesn't cover the needs of my body for the thyroid hormones, so I still take hormones as a pill, though lower doses than I had to take at the very beginning. And I'm looking for further solutions, keeping the balance. And I know that some people, or many people, will say, this is too much sacrifice for us. This is it's totally forgetting about pleasures of life. And I see it differently. I think that these are adjustments that allow me to enjoy my life and to allow me to be a better mother, be more present for my daughters, allow me to be there for my clients. So those adjustments serve my higher purpose. So I just repeat for you shortly the learnings that I draw from my Hashimoto journey. The first one was very important, to take responsibility, to take full accountability for your health. And look for the doctors which will support you. The family doctor might not know all the newest knowledge about your disease. Look for experts who know more about, who specialize in the issues that you have. Then they take a sensitivity test, food sensitivity test, to exclude the foods that you are reacting to. This will help your whole health. Adjust your lifestyle, adjust your nutrition. This will make big change. Resolve psychological issues. Very important. Resolve the root cause, the psychological root cause of the disease. And make the quality of your life to be sustainable and serve your bigger purpose. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see you next time.